10 British innovations vanishing from our daily lives. Britain has long been called the cradle of invention. From steam engines to postage stamps, it's a nation that has shaped the modern world with clever, practical ideas. Yet, many of those once brilliant British innovations are slowly vanishing from daily life. As technology evolves and habits change, the humble creations that once defined the British way of living are fading into memory. In this countdown, we revisit 10 British innovations vanishing from our daily lives, inventions that captured a nation's spirit and quietly changed the world. 10. The red telephone box. Few objects say Britain quite like the red telephone box. Designed by Sir Giles Gilbert Scott in the 1920s, it became an instantly recognizable piece of street furniture, elegant, sturdy, and bright against the grey skies. By the mid-20th century, more than 70,000 of these boxes dotted the UK, connecting towns, villages, and even remote islands. But then came the mobile revolution. Today, over 95% of British adults own a mobile phone, and the once essential kiosk is redundant. BT began removing thousands in the early 2000s, though heritage groups fought to save them. Some remain, repurposed into mini libraries, defibrillator stations, or art installations, proving that British creativity never truly dies. It just adapts. The red telephone box remains a nostalgic icon, a reminder of when communication felt slower, more deliberate, and somehow more personal. 9. The penny farthing. Before the car, before even the motorbike, there was the penny farthing, a symbol of Victorian daring and mechanical brilliance. Invented by James Starley in Coventry during the 1870s, this strange-looking bicycle, with its gigantic front wheel and tiny rear wheel, represented a breakthrough in transportation. Starley's designs made bicycles faster and smoother, but they were not without risk. Riders perched high above the road, often thrown forward in crashes, earning the term "taking a header." Despite the danger, it became the world's first mass-produced personal vehicle, showcasing Britain's pioneering spirit. By the 1890s, safer, chain-driven bicycles replaced it, and the penny farthing slipped into history. Today, you'll only see them in museums, vintage races, or eccentric parades in cities like Bath and York. But the innovation it sparked lives on, the modern bicycle, owes much to this bold British creation that taught the world to ride. 8. The steam iron. For decades, the rhythmic hiss of a steam iron was the soundtrack of British domestic life. The post-war years saw Britain's Morphy Richards, founded in Essex in 1936, lead the charge in bringing sleek, affordable appliances to working families. Their electric irons transformed the drudgery of laundry into something modern and efficient. By the 1960s, nearly every British home owned one. Housewives took pride in crisp collars and spotless sheets, symbols of respectability and care. The steam iron wasn't just a tool, it was part of the national identity of cleanliness and order. But times change. The rise of wrinkle-free fabrics, handheld steamers, and our increasingly casual wardrobes mean the once faithful iron now sits idle in many homes. Younger generations often don't even own one. Still, the invention's legacy is profound. It represented a time when British engineering turned even the most ordinary task into a small act of progress. 7. The gas heater. Before central heating, British winters were conquered by the soft hiss of the gas fire. This innovation took root in the late 1800s, when engineers like George Bower of Manchester and the British Gas Light and Coke Company developed early domestic heaters. For much of the 20th century, gas fireplaces were the warm heart of the British home. They were safer and cleaner than coal, easier to light, and surprisingly efficient. Families gathered around the glowing grate, warming tea and conversation in equal measure. But environmental shifts and energy regulations are pushing them aside. Britain's move toward electric heat pumps and net zero goals means gas heating will be phased out in new homes by the 2030s. The familiar blue flame is slowly being extinguished, taking with it one of Britain's most comforting inventions. The gas heater was not just technology, it was tradition, progress, and warmth wrapped together. 6. The electric kettle. If there's one invention Britain truly made its own, it's the electric kettle. Developed in 1891 by Crompton and Company and perfected in 1922 by British manufacturer Swan, this small appliance powered the nation's tea obsession. Quick, efficient, and delightfully British, the kettle became as essential as the teacup itself. Office gossip, family chats, and life's greatest debates all began with, "I'll put the kettle on." Yet even this beloved British staple faces decline. Coffee pod machines, instant brewers, and induction hobs are edging it out. Some minimalist modern homes now forego kettles entirely, heating water with smart taps or stoves. The loss is cultural as much as practical. The electric kettle is more than a gadget. It's part of Britain's soul, a shared pause in the day when life slows just long enough for a proper brew. 5. The fax machine, Alexander Bain's legacy. Long before emails or scanners, a Scottish clockmaker named Alexander Bain envisioned a way to send images over wire. In 1843, he patented the first facsimile machine, synchronizing two pendulums to transmit writing through electric signals. It was the ancestor of every office fax machine that would follow. While modern versions were refined abroad, Bain's genius sparked the idea. By the 1980s, fax machines had become essential in offices across the UK, humming, beeping, and whirring documents from London to Liverpool in minutes. But now? They're nearly extinct. Email, cloud storage, and instant messaging have erased the need. Few under 30 have ever used one. What was once the height of futuristic communication now sits gathering dust in forgotten corners of old offices. Still, Bain's 19th century mind saw the digital age coming, a testament to Britain's visionary inventors who dreamed in electric lines. 4. The Knowledge, London's legendary taxi test. For over 150 years, London's black cab drivers were known as human GPS systems, their minds holding a map of one of the world's most complex cities. Since 1865, anyone wishing to drive a black cab had to pass the Knowledge, memorising over 25,000 streets and 20,000 landmarks within a 6-mile radius of Charing Cross. It could take up to 4 years to pass, with trainees riding scooters around the capital to study routes. Those who succeeded were admired for their near-superhuman recall, but the digital age changed everything. GPS navigation and ride-hailing apps like Uber mean fewer drivers bother with the Knowledge. In the 2000s, over 7,000 new applicants trained each year. By the 2020s, that number had dropped below 500. Still, those who complete it wear their green badge with pride, the mark of one of Britain's greatest feats of mental endurance. 3. The public post box and the vanishing last post. The sight of a bright red pillar box is as British as rain and roast dinners. Introduced by Anthony Trollope while working for the Post Office in 1852, these cast-iron marvels brought order and efficiency to Britain's growing postal system. For generations, the last post collection time was part of daily life. People dashed through the drizzle to catch it, posting letters that could reach anywhere in the country overnight. But with emails and instant messaging replacing pen and paper, collection times have shrunk dramatically. Some rural boxes are now emptied only once a day. The red postbox still stands proud, but its role has changed, from communication hub to heritage symbol. Its fading purpose reflects a gentler era, when a letter carried weight and a handwritten envelope felt like a conversation that mattered. 2. The milk float. Every British childhood once began with the soft hum of the milk float. The quiet, all-electric delivery vehicle that glided down streets before sunrise. Originating in the 1940s and 1950s, these vehicles were perfected by Morrison Electricar, a Derbyshire company specialising in electric fleet designs. They were decades ahead of their time, emission-free, efficient and dependable. Milk floats became a symbol of post-war Britain, cheerful drivers clinking bottles in the dawn mist. By the 1980s, over 40,000 were in use nationwide. Then came the supermarkets. Doorstep deliveries declined, glass bottles gave way to plastic, and the floats disappeared. In recent years, eco-friendly startups have revived them in small numbers, but their golden era is gone. The milk float is proof that Britain was doing green tech long before it was fashionable. A quiet environmental pioneer now fading into memory. 1. The mini-disc, Britain's forgotten role in the digital music revolution. In 1992, the mini-disc promised to revolutionise how we listened to music, compact, rewritable and crystal clear. Though launched by Sony, the technology drew on key British R&D collaborations from Amstrad and Philips UK, whose engineers helped develop data compression and disc reading systems used in early prototypes. For a short while, it was the future, a perfect mix of digital quality and portable design. DJs, audiophiles and radio producers loved it. Britain's BBC even used mini-discs in broadcasting through the late 1990s. But the digital tide moved fast. The arrival of MP3s, iPods and streaming services sent the mini-disc spinning into obscurity. Production stopped in 2013, leaving behind a small cult following of collectors and retro tech fans. It may not have lasted, but the mini-disc represents Britain's hand in shaping the digital soundscape, a fleeting spark from a nation that helped invent the rhythm of the modern world. From the milk float to the red telephone box, these 10 British innovations vanishing from our daily lives tell the story of a nation that always looked forward. Though they fade, each left its mark. Clever, practical, and unmistakably British. The spirit of invention endures, even as the gadgets change. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.